Hey, what's up, guys? My name is Torin, the host, owner, and recovering watch addict for the Everyday Watch channel. And for today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the latest announcement from the brand Grand Seiko and what I think it potentially means for their future. So yeah, Grand Seiko just decided to start off the new year very strongly by already announcing a successor to their popular White Birch model. Now, this is a timepiece that actually won the Grand Prix in horology in Geneva, Switzerland last year, and it's also a watch that I'm fortunate enough to currently own in my collection. So you might be wondering, well, what iterative change are they going to make to this successful timepiece? Well, to the average person, I think it's going to be a very subtle change, but to the watch enthusiast, it's really going to listen to their consumer base. And essentially what they're going to do is swap out this newly designed high beat movement in the White Birch, the SLGA009, and they're going to be replacing it with their newly designed spring drive caliber 9RA2, which is a variant of spring drive that actually has the power reserve indicator on the see-through caseback. The rotor for the caseback is nicely hollowed out. Everything is really well finished. The movement itself is also thinner than previous iterations of spring drive, and it boasts an insane 5-day power reserve, or 120 hours, with accuracy that actually beats most quartz watches. So they're talking this movement is spec'd at gaining no more than half a second per day or 10 seconds per month. Now personally, I'm actually quite privileged to have some hands-on experience with this new spring drive caliber 9RA2 because it was actually released inside this watch here. This is the Grand Seiko SLGA007, aka the Lake Sua, and it does actually house the same spring drive movement that's going to be going in the new White Birch being released in early 2022. Now, before getting too much further into this video, I should highlight the fact that I did an in-depth head-to-head comparison between the current White Birch, the SLGH005, against the Lake Sua. So if you're new to the channel, please go through my archives and you can actually see an in-depth analysis between these two watches. And I'm actually going to throw up some B-roll of the 9RA2 because it is a beautiful movement. And I do think that it is a subtle enough change to please the masses, because I think when the White Birch was originally released last year, a lot of people really compared this watch to probably the most iconic Grand Seiko in the catalog, and that is the Grand Seiko Snowflake. And of course, the Snowflake does have spring drive. Granted, it was a much older caliber, the 9R65, which was still phenomenal, don't get me wrong. It had about 3 days of power reserve, and it was regulated to gain or lose no more than a second per day. So for the future of this brand, I think what Grand Seiko can actually do is revitalize a lot of their old heritage watches with the new in-house 9RA2 spring drive calibers, as well as also look at some new models that utilize their high beat movement, the 9SA5, because that is also phenomenal. And if we're going to specifically discuss the 9SA5, so the high beat movement that Grand Seiko put out fairly recently as well, it would be really awesome if they can include a power reserve indicator in that movement for future releases as well. Because I really love the current White Birch, but not having the power reserve indicator does feel like a missed opportunity when it is actually very present on the SLGA007, and it will be for the SLGA009. Now, in terms of pricing and availability, the new White Birch is actually going to be favorable to a lot of people. It's being offered at a price tag of $8,600 US, which is actually still kind of expensive for Grand Seiko. But if you compare that to the current White Birch, the SLGH005, it's priced higher at $9,100 US. So there's about a $500 delta there. So to summarize, I do think that Grand Seiko is positioning itself quite well in the luxury watch market. Not only last year, which they had a great year, but forecasting for this year as well. While some Swiss luxury watch brands like Rolex do have annual price increases with minimal innovations, I do think Grand Seiko is stepping up their game with including their newly developed in-house calibers in more watches, and I would also like to see more watches use their 9 series case because it's a lot thinner and more comfortable on the wrist than other watch cases in the past, like the 44GS case and some of their more vintage pieces. Now guys, if you made it this far and you enjoy the content, please consider subscribing to my YouTube channel. It does help out a lot. And as always, I can't wait to catch you guys in the next video.